welcome back to another journal flip through of my Hobonichi Day Free journal. This is the first time I was using one of my Book Ever vellum, this beautiful purpley vellum, it's darling, to sort of be a beginning of the month marker. It's kind of what I've decided I want to do. And so this is an interesting month. Again, it's summer, I'm not working, so I'm doing sort of projecty things, and I was experimenting still with trying to incorporate other things into the journal a little bit. And as you will see, it didn't really work that well, but that's okay. You try things out and then you kind of go back to what you were doing a little bit. Also for this month, whatever, I'm going back to this beautiful Hobonichi cover, which I do love dearly. But I also love the flowery one that I have on sometimes. So I went with a purpley, glittery, foily theme here for the first spread. The spreads get kind of cut off when you have the vellum in between them, but that's okay. And one thing that happened in June is that I got really lazy regarding my habits, which I think is connected to my fatigue issues that I really do have and need to respect and deal with in ways other than trying to push myself always to do things that my body just doesn't feel like doing. So enough about that. And on this day I was feeling caught up, which of course makes me anxious because everything makes me anxious. These were interesting. These I got from a store, I don't remember, but they're just on a card. They're not whole entire washies, which is nice because you get to try out other things without having a whole roll. You know, but how often do we actually finish a roll? I mean, now and then you do, but there's a lot of washi on those rolls, and if you have a bunch of them. And then all just the normal stickering that I usually do. So I guess in the beginning of June, it was kind of warm. Vlog footage. And I was still making vlogs. As you may have noticed, I'm kind of away from the vlogs. I just don't have, basically I just don't feel like doing them. And I'm not going to force, you know, I still do other types of videos. So that's fine. And moving on into now this spread I really do like. And so here's an example of trying to do something a little junk journaling. This is a picture from the big encyclopedia that you've seen perhaps on Instagram. It's a German encyclopedia that I decided to destroy in order to put things wherever I want to put them, because it's a way to interact with the book. I mean, I'm not really reading it, although I do look at the pages more now, but in terms of looking at them as a resource for scrapbooking, etc. I think that's perfectly fine. I mean, the book, I had this books on my shelves, and then I put them in boxes in the garage, and what's the use of that? So why not just, you know, repurpose them? And of course I love this. Somebody see what's going on here. Organizing ephemera. So doing stuff to do with junk journaling, you have ephemera, little bits and pieces that you cut up. And my sleeping has been okay, but not great. Putsy day at my desk, which is most days basically. So the junk journaling. Sometimes I think about things more than I actually do them. I kind of talk myself into things and then out of things. And down here I made the mistake of switching my ink, a pen, and not realizing the ink is a different color. And discombobulated. Oh, I remember, this is my reading where I gave up one big novel that I had said I would read. For the second time I gave up reading this modernist masterpiece called The Man Without Qualities, because I just found it so hard to read and tedious, and I'm like, who needs that? Even I like to read things I want to read. Decided apparently to go with the blue ink on this spread, which I also love, the grays and the purples. And I love these, I forget the brand, not Mindwave. They're ones that you rub on, and so they have they're not bumpy at all. It's just a beautiful picture. This one too. All these three are from that. And then you have regular washies and stickers. And I like how I incorporated the kitties with the pretties. The kitties with the pretties. Reading update, taking pressure off myself. Too much time on ancestry, which is a sort of, I've talked about how it's a beautiful hobby, but it is kind of like, you go into the zone where you kind of fall into little stories or things you want to find out about people, and it's fun on the one hand. On the other hand, the time suck aspect of it is astounding. And let's see, what else? Dipping into booktube. Yeah, another thing is I haven't been watching as much as I thought I would. And I'm just going to be okay with that too. 88. Oh yes, yes. It had some what would you call it? Awkward, upsetting. Not that upsetting, but like they wanted a whole bunch of stuff because I had requested a chair to teach in, like a high chair, so I can sit at the computer. And they were being kind of like, well, we need this, this, and this, and then in a huff, I sent them what on the my chart, we have all our stuff listed, what's wrong with us. And I have like a whole page of things on there. And I just said, this is what I have. Take it or leave it. And they were like, okay, you really do have stuff. Sure. They're kind of like contrite about it. And I don't know if I'll get the chair. The problem with the chair for teaching is that if I can roll it around other rooms, it might be good. But if I have to put it on the elevator, I don't think I'll do that. I think I'll just stand. But anyway. This is from Nico Neko, I think. Nico Neko, the store in New York that I order some things from. Beautiful stickers. So this is an example of memory keeping a little receipt from there. Oh, I like this spread too, even though it's a bit sort of busy. Like these two. This is a new one from Nico Neko, and it's great because it has like fairy tales. See, it says Grimm's there, and this is Little Red Riding Hood. There's a wolf. So it's darling, and it has the silver foil. It's beautiful Japanese tape. And then this one might be from the freebies, I think. And I kind of just decided to do different. And let's see what's going on. Washi is so cute. Linktree, mentally. Oh yes, also I am doing work on the new book that we're using in the fall for our beginning German classes. It's an online resource that requires us to teach in a different way. So I'm kind of already going back to work a little bit with that. And I think I mentioned sometime how, maybe on a video or not, I don't know, how it was making me anxious and how I had to sort of de-anxious myself in order to work in a meaningful way on it. And let's see. Oh, this is a fun day. So in the beginning of August, we're taking a short trip to commemorate our 25th wedding anniversary to a state forest or state park in our area called Hocking Hills. And I kind of planned our itinerary for going there, which will involve stopping over at a part of Columbus, Ohio called Germantown, and going to a bookstore, and kind of just scoped out where I want to go there on the way to our cabin in the Hocking Hills. And I took a little bit of Googling. I'm a little addicted to Google Maps. I don't know about you guys, but like part of even the Postcrossing that I do now, I look at where people live on the maps. And I like doing that. And then down here, feeling nappish. This is a new fountain pen. It was a bunch I got from CVS, and they're kind of just one-off pens from Zebra. And they come in these colors, and they're a bit thick. You know, they're not really, and the thing is, it's just, I think once it's done, it's done. I don't think they're refillable at all. They were cheap. I mean, for 4 of them, you get 4 colors. And I do like the colors. I will use them. I've only been using the black one. But it was just something I got at CVS after going to some appointment at the hair cutting place. Okay, so here's an example of a mistake or something I just decided not to do. So what happened here, for the longest time when I started my postcrossing, I was convinced what I would do is I would flip in the postcards that I get into my journal. And here are all my postcards. And I'm doing something else now that I'll tell you about another time. But the thing is, and see, I even did it with this one. This is what's cut off. This is the only one I did it with, the first one I got. The problem is it just breaks the vibe of the spreads too much. It's just a style clash. Not that I don't like the postcards, but I like them on their own. I don't like them in the pages of my journal. So it's kind of making me realize you do want to have some kind of cohesive look to your things. I mean, more or less. And so I had to wrench. I'd already it worked really well to tip it in with tape. And the only way it came out is I broke, you know, it had to tear. I don't know, it tore some of the thin paper here. So yeah, I've got that stuff going on here. And then for 2 pages, I just didn't do a good job. And it's also kind of thin in here on where I did it. So that was a complete fail. It was now commemorated in my journal, which is fine. But yeah, I was glad when I got, postcard shenanigans right here when it stopped. So yeah, so that's a nice spread. This spread, yeah, not bad. This is a new cutesy tape. that I do love, but you have to kind of figure out how it works with non-cutesy stuff. The pretties and the kitties, the cuties and the bears. It might have been better to do something similar here, but it doesn't matter. It's still nice. And thick fountain pen, regular fountain pens, or just a gel pen. Gosh, I really messed things up with the postcard. Yeah, you did. Live and learn. The ongoing struggle, LOL. YouTube, booktube. Yeah, trying to sort of get back into a routine. It's hard to do it when you don't have a routine. Things take you out of your routine, including thunderstorms sometimes. We've been having quite strong ones. My sister went to see a concert in Mannheim, Germany of Red Hot Chili Peppers and Iggy Pop, which I thought was hilarious, and she had a good time. So that's that. Now this one I'm also not sure about, because this is another memory keeping thing, which, I mean, it's fine, but I don't know if I would do it again. So an elderly couple, unlike the Mormons who go around in same-sex couples, haha, all dressed up in their white shirts and their ties. For the Jehovah's Witnesses, don't get there very often. That was an elderly couple who thrust this pamphlet into our hand, called about a convention in Cincinnati. And I just thought it was hilarious because patience is something I do need to exercise and work on. So I thought it was fine for me to commemorate getting this pamphlet in my bullet journal, just to sort of, it's a memory keeping thing. It was just after the Mormons, you know, and the Mormons gave me the picture of Jesus. And then I have this from the Jehovah's Witnesses. And I wanted to look up their religion. I looked up Mormonism. I was like, okay, But I have to remember, I don't know much about this one. I used to know a bit more. They had quite a few of them in Australia. This is nice, though. This is another teddy bear tape, apparently, that I got. I'm crazy with the teddy bear tapes. Feeling loopy. I often feel just a bit loopy. I'm actually starting to feel a little bit better now. The brain fog and dizziness is definitely something you'd have to contend with when you have fatigue. Or fibromyalgia, or whatever it is that I have, one of those things. But it comes and goes, and I can sort of feel it lifting, even though I'm not really doing anything different. Towards the end of June now. This is another interesting page, so it's a little bit messy. Although I like everything on it, but it's not cohesive at all. And this is a different type of entry. This is thoughts on a book that I read. They actually did some book journaling type stuff in here. I wish it were a little prettier, but on the other hand, I'm kind of glad. But the thing is, I did it in here, and now I'm thinking, wow, it'd be nice if I could just have a designated place. Now I'm going back to thinking maybe a book journal would be good. But I so rarely do this. A lot of times when I have things to say about a book, I'll just type something into a Word doc. This is very unusual that I actually just wanted to write things on a page about Gerald Murnane's book, which I thought was very strange, and which I talk about in my last book journal reading chat. And I just jotted down a few things. And then this is a normal entry that I just decided to decorate the rest. This is another stationery store on the West Coast that I ordered from. It was Kubo Nusi, beautiful Japanese stationery. And yeah, this is a working day on the book, the new book. So yeah, and that's it for June. Yep, it sure is. The next page is the vellum for July. And I think I'll stop right here. Well, maybe, what the heck, since we're on the road, we're filming, I will show you my Postcrossing so far. It's not, so what I've decided to do after some research is to create a postcard booklet. And so this is the beginning. This will not be what it looks like forever. But I found and I did finally find someone on the internet who's doing something with postcards. No, she just does it with pretty postcards. I'm doing it with the ones I get in the mail. And so what you do is you take two of them, you take two and you pick a washi and you tape it, and then that's good. And then you keep doing that for the next two addresses here, even though I don't really care if people see my address that much. And so here's another one. And so you have you always have sets of two postcards with washi in between. And then you put new washi to tape the two together. So then you have four. It's like 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4. And for some reason that works better in keeping them all together. So like, it's hard to explain. I'm not doing a good job of explaining it. But so for this one, first I'll do, when a new one comes in, this is the last one I received from Cyprus. I was so excited, even though I think the person lives in Czechoslovakia, but they sent me a postcard from Cyprus, which I think is super cool. And when I get another one, I'll do the tapey thing. So I'll do the tapey right here, the new one. But then with the two that I have, I'll tape it to this one. So that seems to work well to keep them all together. And when I think it's thick enough, which I haven't decided how many, I mean, it could go pretty thick. What you do, and see, I decided this is one that I got not from Postcrossing, but from someone that actually saw my TikTok about my postcards and said they were pretty, and could she send me one, and we exchanged one. And hopefully she got mine. I'll have to ask her. Anyway, so this one is nice because it's William Morris and it's decorative. So I'm going to use it as the cover for the booklet, I thought. And then at some point, the last one, however thick I want it to be, what I'm going to do is tape it again with very thick washi. I have wider ones. I have at least one that would be wide enough. And on the video, I'll have to sort of experiment. I'll have to sort of probably tape it. Like she even ended up taping it, sort of making its own, making a spine almost and gluing it to it. Somehow making it into a booklet, which I think will be pretty and pretty low maintenance, easy to do, which is what I'm looking for. I have a bunch of postcards in albums that I bought off of kind of like picture albums, I guess, photo albums that I bought on Amazon. But I never really look at them, and I don't like the look of them. They're very sort of old-fashioned. I think this is kind of more junk journal-y, pretty way to keep them together. Okay, so now that's it. Thank you all for watching. And I will be back soon. Bye.